An early morning brawl turned homicide investigation after a man is dead, being struck and killed by a vehicle following a fight between a large group of people in North York. Good evening. This all unfolded in the area of Keele and Wilson just after 6 this morning. Police say an argument broke out in the area before escalating into a fight involving multiple people.
A light-colored vehicle was seen fleeing the area, and investigators are appealing to those involved to turn themselves in. CTV Sean Leathong joins us now live from the scene with the latest. Sean.
Over Heem and Andrea, you can see the area behind me remains closed off as police have been investigating for much of the day.
A fight leaving one man dead, the victim of an apparent hit and run, and police have a message for the suspect.
Turn yourself in. It's not going to be long until you're discovered.
It was 6 a.m. when Toronto police got a call for a fight near an apartment building on Agate Drive just north of Wilson.
Information was that an argument had happened in the area and a fight had occurred. When police arrived, they located a gentleman who had been injured and also struck by a motor vehicle.
According to police, paramedics attempted life-saving measures, but the man was pronounced dead. Homicide has taken over the investigation with much of the focus on the front driveway of the building where evidence markers and tents have been set up. Investigators releasing very little in the way of a suspect description.
The only information I can release right now is that a light-colored vehicle was seen fleeing the area shortly after 6 a.m. this morning.
Early reports from police are that a fight had broken out involving several people. Police would not confirm, but say there were multiple witnesses.
There's definitely witnesses, plural. There was more than one person involved for sure.
Police were speaking to a large group of men who remained at the scene for several hours. None would speak to reporters as officers put out a call for more witnesses to come forward.
We know that there are people out there who know what happened and saw what happened.
Agate Drive was closed for much of the day for the investigation.
So police also have not put out any information on just what the suspect may look like or how many suspects there can be. Reporting live, I'm Sean Leathong. Andrea, I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Sean. 2 people are recovering in hospital after they were shot inside their home in Brampton this morning.
Police say the armed suspects broke into the residence while those inside were sleeping.
A heavy police presence early Sunday morning on this residential street in Brampton following a violent home invasion.
We didn't heard any commotion at that time because we are living just two houses over. But I'm worried.
Officers were called after shots were fired inside this residence near Ray Lawson Boulevard and Bentry Court shortly after 4 a.m. Police say 6 people were sleeping inside when the suspects entered the home from the rear.
At least 2 suspects entered the home armed with firearms, and there was an altercation inside which led to shots fired, and they left in an unknown direction at this point.
A man and woman were taken to a trauma center, now recovering with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. The suspects are said to have been men wearing dark clothing. At this time, police aren't certain if this was a robbery gone wrong or a different motive.
Forensic officers are going to be on scene, and they're going to be analyzing evidence, ballistic evidence like that, to see whether there's shell casings on scene that'll help determine what type of firearm was used, if there are any bullet holes, and what the trajectory was.
Peel police don't believe the suspects and victims knew each other, leaving neighbors on edge.
Now this degree of shooting and multiple shootings is happening, and it's coming close and close to our homes. This really makes me worried. I'm sorry, I have no words to explain to it.
Investigators are asking residents with doorbell cameras to retain the video and contact police.
A procession was held this afternoon to honor a Toronto police officer killed in the line of duty on Thursday. A motorcade escorted the body of Pinizzato from the office of the chief coroner to a funeral home in Thornhill around 3 p.m. The procession comes day after Constable Mark Pinizzato was shot and killed while officers were executing a search warrant at a North York apartment building. Pinizzato was a long-serving member of the Toronto Police Service and a former elite hockey player. He was also a married father of 2.
It's all about Mark and his family. He's a hero. Mark's a hero. And when most of us were sleeping in bed, he was out there executing a high-risk search warrant. and it cost him his life, and we're here to honor him and his family.
A book of condolences will be available at TPS headquarters beginning tomorrow for members of the public to pay their respects. There is also a book of condolences at 23 Division. Funeral details have not yet been shared.
In Oshawa, a male victim is in hospital following a shooting this afternoon. It happened in the area of Ritson Road and Beatrice Street. Durham police officers located a male victim with a gunshot wound. He was taken to hospital with what police described as non-life-threatening injuries. The suspect remains outstanding. No description has been released. A 24-year-old man is dead after a vehicle crashed into a ditch on Highway 412 in Whitby this morning. It happened on the southbound lanes of the 412, heading towards the 401 west around 4 a.m. A single vehicle ended up in the ditch. Police say the victim, a 24-year-old man, was a passenger in the vehicle. The driver was taken to hospital with serious injuries. The cause of the crash is under investigation.
3 people are in hospital following a multi-vehicle crash in Scarborough this morning. It happened shortly before 4 a.m. near Lawrence Avenue East and McCowan Road. As many as 4 vehicles were involved. Toronto paramedics tell us 1 person has serious non-life-threatening injuries. And in Brampton, 2 men are in hospital following an early morning collision involving 2 motorcycles. It happened near Queen Street East and Hanson Road just before 4:30 this morning. Both riders were taken to hospital with serious injuries. Peel police say the injuries are not believed to be life-threatening. It's unclear if the motorcyclists lost control or collided with one another as the investigation continues.
As a result of the less than ideal weather, the start of the FIFA FanFest was delayed for much of the afternoon. The site opened to the public just before 5 p.m. It was initially slated to open at 1, but was pushed back due to severe weather. The FanFest is scheduled to be open until 9:30 tonight, and it will be closed tomorrow before reopening on Wednesday, when the next match in our city between Ghana and Panama takes to the field.
Well, more news in a moment, but first here's a live look at Nathan Phillips Square, and you can see there are some people making their way onto the pitch and enjoying now that the bulk of the weather system has passed the GTA. Let's show you the satellite radar so you can get a better picture of what I'm talking about. You can see that, yes, we were in the thick of it for several hours this afternoon, but now it seems like we're dealing with mainly just cloud cover in the GTA. Winds 33 kilometers per hour in the city of Toronto. Temperature right now 16 degrees in Goderich, Hamilton, London, 21 degrees in Windsor. At the islands right now, 16 degrees. Pearson Airport, a little bit of sunshine still peeking out. Our overnight low tonight, just 10 degrees. That is below normal for this time of year. And you can see those winds will be sticking with us as well, up to 50 kilometers per hour. A bit of a mixed bag coming up this week, but we are in for a nice day tomorrow. All those details coming up. But first, the 2026 Toronto Caribbean Carnival kicked off its season with a massive celebration at Scarborough Town Centre yesterday. This year's theme is We Move the Carnival. The kickoff event featured electrifying live performances, food vendors, and a vibrant look at this summer's parade costumes. Hundreds gathered to get a sneak peek at the 2026 costumes, enjoy live steel pan music, and taste authentic Caribbean flavors. There will be events held throughout the summer, culminating in the Carnival Grand Parade at the exhibition grounds on August 1st.
One of Toronto's most popular street parties winds down today. The Taste of Little Italy is taking over College Street this weekend. 500,000 people are expected to check out the festival. You can experience live music and other events, and of course, delicious Italian cuisine. The festival runs until 10 p.m. tonight. Road closures on College Street between Bathurst and Shaw remain in effect until 3 a.m. Well, a summer favorite for decades in Durham region is now a little more than a memory.
Years after the Petticoat Creek pool closure, residents are still waiting for a plan for the site. CTV's Carol Charles has the story.
For decades, this giant outdoor pool at Petticoat Creek Conservation Area was a summertime tradition for families across Durham region. But now, this gaping hole is all that remains. The gates locked and off limits to the public.
It's shameful for the area. It was so well used. It was an amazing place to go. Amazing. It's missed.
For many residents, it's not just that the pool is gone, it's that almost 7 years later, still no answers about its future use. Brittany Burrows says it was her go-to spot growing up, and she is disappointed that her kids won't experience the fun or have a way to beat the heat.
I live so close to Petticoat where it would just bring me so much joy to be able to bring my 2 little boys somewhere where they could just have fun and cool off in the summer.
The pool, which first opened in 1975 and underwent a multi-million-dollar accessibility renovation in 2012, has been closed since 2020. It never reopened post-COVID. The property is owned and operated by the Toronto and Region Conservation Authority. The TRCA closed the pool and snack bar facility in 2021 after engineers discovered significant infrastructure problems beneath the pool. Paul White, former president of Fairport Beach Neighborhood Association, says the closure is a disservice to residents.
The ball was dropped somewhere along the line, but TRCA is the one responsible for it, and they're the ones that should look after getting it running again. Go back to the provincial government and ask for the money.
To me, I'm not a pool expert. I'm not an expert in aquatics, but I can tell you that people that have had swimming pools or even our own city facilities, 10 years, 15 years is not a long time for a pool to be damaged beyond repair.
Pickering city officials say they have been in talks with the TRCA for the past 2 years to consider options to revitalize the park with a new family-friendly attraction, such as a water-themed splash pad, but those talks have stalled.
Their vision is not aligned with our vision, and we're still hopeful with the changes to the Conservation Authority Act, which will kick in for 2027. All conservation authorities are being realigned with new board management.
In a statement from the Toronto Region Conservation Authority, they say in part, moving forward, they are exploring funding opportunities to support the development of a comprehensive park master plan for Petticoat Creek Conservation Area. Should funding become available, the process would include public consultation and engagement with stakeholders, municipalities, and community members regarding future recreational and conservation-oriented uses for the site.
Love to see them redo it, fix whatever's wrong, and reopen it for the community.
Perhaps we're looking at more of a water feature, a splash pad, whatever that might be. I think that would still be a win in my books.
Carol Charles, CTV News.
As Canadians struggle with affordability and overwhelming debt, we're hearing tonight from a family who moved halfway across the country thinking they would enjoy a lower cost of living.
CTV's Paul Hollingsworth has their story and the situation they now face.
Haley Bogdan moved to Nova Scotia in 2022 with her husband and 2 children, expecting a cheaper cost of living. But the last 4 years have been a major disappointment.
We came here for a better life than we were getting in Ontario.
Expensive groceries, gas, and rising home heating costs are just a few of the items that have put Bogdan's family in a precarious financial situation.
I had no debt and a great credit score before I moved here, and now that I've moved here, I am in debt.
At one point, Bogdan was forced to buy groceries with her credit card.
I had to stop it because it's maxed out and I couldn't keep up with the payments.
When Bogdan first moved to Nova Scotia, her rent was $1,200 a month. Now it's more than twice that amount. A recent study shows Nova Scotia has become the most expensive province in Canada for apartment and condo rentals. A new snapshot from Stats Canada also shows Canadian household debt is outpacing incomes. Experts say affordability issues in this province are linked to the average Nova Scotia income, which is down compared to the rest of the country.
More than $10,000 at an individual level, right after tax, and we're about $25,000 down versus the average family.
Retail analyst Bruce Winder is calling for all levels of government to prioritize investing in industry growth, which could lead to increased wages.
So they can increase productivity output per person, and that'll increase profits and enable them to pay higher wages.
Until then, Bogdan hopes for a better and more affordable quality of life.
My husband and I have both been trying to find a second job
that doesn't include a crushing amount of debt. Paul Hollingsworth, CTV News, Dartmouth, Nova Scotia.
Political watchers are keeping a close eye on the Trump administration's response after the Carney government proposed a social media ban for kids under 16.
Ottawa's point person on the policy says it won't be on the table as trade talks with Washington heat up. U.S. President Donald Trump has a history of defending big tech and has signaled a willingness to fight social media bans in other jurisdictions. In an interview that aired today on CTV's Question Period, host Vashi Kapelis asked Canadian Identity and Culture Minister Mark Miller whether the administration could push Ottawa to rethink its plans. The Carney government has done so during earlier disagreements over the now scrapped digital services tax and Canadian content funding requirements for U.S. streamers.
But I am entirely assured that we'll be focusing on kids. The issues in and around some of the other matters that we were discussing are ones that I won't be discussing publicly. But clearly there's a difference between how money is distributed within an industry and the desire to protect kids. And I would also say that platforms, not to put words in their mouth, are taking a different approach to this.
This is the Liberals' third attempt to pass legislation tackling harmful online content. Bill C-34 is dubbed the Safe Social Media Act and would ban social media access for those under 16. Platforms would be able to get an exemption if they complied with certain safety standards, but those rules and enforcement mechanisms would be set up in the future by a regulator.
Prime Minister Mark Carney continued his trip to Ireland today, looking to build on Canada's trade relationships abroad.
The visit comes ahead of a high-stakes G7 leaders meeting. CTV's Michael Couture is traveling with the Prime Minister.
They came by the hundreds to welcome Prime Minister Mark Carney to his ancestral home of Ahagower, Ireland, the town where his grandparents lived in the 1920s before they emigrated to Canada.
Everybody is talking about your likeness to your grandfather.
That's good. Well, yeah, you know, the genes are strong.
Down the road, J.P. Scott is serving Mark's Maple Sundays in honor of the visit.
So we hope this is going to put us on the map, be it like Obama going to Moneygall or JFK going to New Ross.
The 17-month-old Malachi Morgan was brought by his mother, who was born in New Brunswick but moved to Ireland 9 years ago.
It's a great opportunity to see the leader of Canada, who we're really proud of, and hopefully and for my little son to meet him too, or to see him.
Moments later, he got that chance. After attending Sunday Mass, Carney planted a tree as a symbol of his past roots in this town and the connection that lives on with his many cousins.
But we're all back in contact, so that's because of him. So as a family, that means a lot to us.
During his two-day visit, Carney tried to deepen economic ties with Ireland. While the Conservatives aren't criticizing the trip, they are lamenting what they call the lack of results.
He's been jetting around the world without negotiating a single new free trade agreement with any country anywhere on planet Earth.
Carney countered that coming to Ireland is about paving the way for future deals.
And by deepening our relationships, by making it simpler to do business in Ireland, in Europe, we create enormous opportunity for Canadian jobs.
Economic cooperation will be part of the G7 Leaders Summit over the next 3 days. However, it seems unlikely that CUSMA will be discussed by the Prime Minister and President Donald Trump. Carney says those talks will happen on the sidelines of the summit between Minister Dominic LeBlanc, Canada's lead trade negotiator Janice Charette, and their American counterparts. Mike Couture, CTV News, Westport, Ireland.
The world's eyes are once again on the Middle East tonight as both the U.S. and Iran claim a deal has been reached to halt their war, which had been under a shaky ceasefire for weeks. U.S. President Donald Trump said this evening that a deal he said was due to be announced today is now complete. He said it would see the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz and the lifting of U.S. blockades on Iranian ports there. Now, Iran said it had forced the U.S. to accept its terms and the deal will cover Lebanon, where Israel has been carrying out strikes against Iranian-backed Hezbollah militants. As details emerge, Pakistan, which served as a mediator, says the deal will be signed in Switzerland on Friday. Back in Washington, the U.S. president is marking his 80th birthday with a celebration this evening featuring a cage fighting event on the White House South Lawn. The Ultimate Fighting Championship is set to make history today as the first professional sporting event ever held at the presidential residence. About 4,300 invited guests are expected at the mixed martial arts event.
As millions of Canadians struggle to find a family doctor, scores of physicians in the UK are unable to find jobs.
CTV's Adrian Gabriel has more on how this could help people here at home gain more care.
For months, labour unrest has forced resident doctors in England to hit the picket line.
The government needs to rebuild the NHS.
This coming week, doctors in that country will stage a walkout, marking the 16th time they've done so during a long-running dispute over wages and the lack of available jobs for graduates. This British Medical Journal report claims that physicians and specialists are, quote, quietly quitting or looking to make the move across the Atlantic.
They leave for other countries. So I've had colleagues who leave for Canada, is a very popular destination.
Family doctor Francis Okoro is one of the doctors who've made the jump.
Over the 18 months plus that I've been here, I've been able to sort of partner with others to open a clinic downtown. And I feel that that's something that just wouldn't be possible in the UK.
Last year, 2 in 5 Canadians reported that they didn't have a family physician. Access to care is a national problem. In December, Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada launched targeted immigration measures to boost Canada's supply of doctors. The federal government didn't respond to our email today asking how many physicians have been lured to Canada this year, though Dr. Okoro, who moved from Birmingham in 2024, sees international recruitment as part of the solution to get more highly skilled medical professionals into the country.
Canada has recently opened its doors to those from the UK, those from Australia who have a family physician qualification, meaning that there aren't necessarily extra exams that you have to take.
There are factors that you believe still need to be considered as we welcome new doctors into Canada.
The key thing that Canada obviously has to make sure is that the process in order to recruit doctors is rigorous, because you're trying to obviously maintain a certain level of quality as well.
A new pipeline of professionals would be welcome news for patients facing the pointed national problem.
As of 2025, a Health Canada report noted that the country was short more than 22,000 family physicians. The work continues to close the gaping gap. Adrian Gabriel, CTV News, Toronto.
A political party in Quebec isn't fond of the idea of a high-speed rail line between Toronto and Quebec City.
It says it would withdraw the province from the project if it forms the next government. CTV's Olivia O'Malley reports.
Quebec City would be one of the stops in the federal government's high-speed rail project. Politicians here are in a united front against the PQ's opposition to it.
It's a nonsense.
It's not a good thing to send the message that we want to stop this project.
The PQ is threatening to withdraw Quebec from the project if elected this fall. The Alto project is still in the design phase. The proposed high-speed rail line would connect Toronto to Montreal in 3 hours and Montreal to Quebec City in about an hour and a half.
It's not our priority. It's not the priority we should have at this point in time in 2026.
Based on a Bloc Québécois estimation, the PQ says the Quebec portion of the line could potentially cost $40 billion. Instead, it's asking Ottawa to give that money to invest in infrastructure here.
That amount of money we need for other priorities, which are maintaining our buildings and roads and hospitals.
Alto estimates the project will cost between $60 and $90 billion total. Some experts believe this is unrealistic. But Quebec politicians say what's really unrealistic is the fact the PQ believes this money will still exist without the train.
For them to say Quebec is entitled to $40 billion, it's not a reasonable number by any means. It's not a proven number by any means. And if the project doesn't go ahead in Quebec, it doesn't go ahead, period. There is no high-speed project between Toronto and Windsor.
In Ottawa, le Québec met pas d'argent. Federal Industry Minister Mélanie Joly reiterated that Ontario and Quebec don't have to contribute a single penny to the project and praised the project's qualities, including the creation of 50,000 jobs. The PQ says it has not consulted the mayors of Quebec's major cities who have all expressed interest in the project. Montreal's mayor says Quebec must be able to pursue an ambitious vision for the future while continuing to invest in the infrastructure that citizens rely on every day. However, despite the unanimous opposition to the PQ, the train can be pulled off the tracks without the support of the next Quebec government. Olivia O'Malley, CTV News, Quebec City.
The TTC and GO Transit have special service plans in place for match days during the FIFA World Cup, but some changes are in effect throughout the tournament period. GO trains are operating at increased frequencies with more trains added to weekday schedules on the Lakeshore West, Lakeshore East and Stouffville lines. Full details and schedules are at gotransit.com. The TTC has 0 planned subway and LRT closures through to the end of the month, but riders will still encounter 3 reduced speed zones on parts of Line 1. Trains are running more slowly in those areas thanks to track issues. Some streetcars are operating on temporary routes during the FIFA World Cup, and 506 to 306 Carlton streetcars are diverting onto Dundas until 3 a.m. because of the Taste of Little Italy Festival.
This one.
Coming up after the break, we'll talk sports, including if the Blue Jays could clinch the series win against their division rival New York Yankees.
We want to welcome our viewers who are watching our coverage of the 2026 FIFA World Cup on CTV. Let's get you caught up with an update on the top stories we're following this hour.
The one thing I will say, for the people responsible for this murder, find a lawyer and turn yourselves in.
Toronto police are investigating a fatal hit and run in North York as a homicide. Officers say they were called to the area of Keele and Wilson around 6 this morning for reports of a large fight with multiple people involved. A man was then struck by a vehicle and he was pronounced dead at the scene. Police have not released any suspect descriptions, only saying they fled in a light-colored vehicle. Investigators believe the incident is isolated and say there is no broader risk to public safety.
My kids' childhood friends are living on this street where these incidents happen, and I'm really concerned.
A Brampton neighborhood is on edge after a man and a woman were shot during an early morning home invasion. Police allege at least 2 armed suspects entered the home near Ray Lawson Boulevard and Bent Tree Court just before 4 a.m. while 6 people inside were sleeping. It's believed a confrontation occurred after the suspects made entry and then shots were fired. Both the adult man and woman who lived inside the home were rushed to hospital. They are expected to survive. The suspects fled the area following the shooting and remain outstanding. Police don't believe the suspects and victims are known to each other.
It's all about Mark and his family. He's a hero. Mark's a hero. And when most of us were sleeping in bed, he was out there executing a high-risk search warrant, and it cost him his life. And we're here to honor him and his family.
A procession was held this afternoon honoring Toronto police officer Constable Mark Pinizzato, who was killed in the line of duty on Thursday while executing a search warrant in North York. A motorcade escorted the body of Pinizzato from the chief coroner's office to a funeral home in Thornhill. Funeral details have not yet been announced.
Well, what a wet day.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are going to FanFest today, and that just kept getting delayed, and now it is open, which is the good news, but it's kind of expected that we're going to have some rain, right, after with these hot temperatures.
Absolutely. I feel for the vendors that are down there because, of course, they're expecting to have, lots of folks down there. But it is open, and you can still go down there. I just say bring a plastic bag so you can sit on and enjoy the big screen, because that's the whole point of FanFest. I mean, there's lots of things going on, but to watch a game with a group of people, there's apparently there's nothing like it.
Yeah. You could have known, but before we get to weather, actually, if you joined us yesterday, Andrea shared that she got tickets last second to Canada's World Cup match. One ticket, she passed on it to spend time with her husband.
Yep.
I got a flood of messages yesterday, and everyone had their own opinion. Oh, she's so sweet. What is she doing? She should have gone. It's like,
you know what? In our business, we get to do a lot of incredible things.
Yeah.
So sometimes, you know, I just kind of feel like I'm really fortunate. I do get to go to a lot of things, and so I was willing to give up this once-in-a-lifetime game in Canada that Team Canada was playing in. Yeah, I think that's how you. Is that what you said?
Were you talking to Richard directly?
No, I'm talking to you.
Good. I felt like, look what I did for you. Look what I skipped. Yeah. Was he appreciative?
Yes, he was.
Okay, great.
He was.
Right, at least it paid off then. All right. Let's talk about the weather. Oh, yeah. Well, what are we talking here? 16 degrees in Toronto. Okay, so quite comfortable right now. And
cold.
Now that the
No, that's cold.
That's cold?
That's cold.
Oh.
We've had 30. This is cold.
Yeah. All right. Well, Windsor's 21 degrees. That's
okay,
all right,
that's okay.
Here's your evening at a glance. If you are heading to FanFest, I guess, yeah, you will need a light sweater, especially by 9 p.m., just 14 degrees, and a light wind as well by 11 p.m., 13 degrees. Our overnight lows are below normal for this time of year. We should be at around 14. Tonight will be 10 degrees. So still double digits, but it is cool, no doubt. As we wake up tomorrow, mainly sunny day. 12 degrees by 9 a.m. We're only getting up to 22 degrees for a daytime high. That too is below normal, but there is a fair amount of sunshine, so that's pretty good. And you're going to want to enjoy that along with the UV index, which is in the 7 range. So in the days prior, we were in the very high range. Now we're in the high range, 7. You still want to apply that sunscreen for sure. In Kingston, St. Catharines, they are still at an 8. Let's show you the pollen report, because tomorrow it is actually very high. Yeah, mulberry, pine, fir, spruce, oak. And so just make sure you're mindful of that if you are sensitive to allergies. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast. We've talked about Monday, then the rain moves back in. And so all week there is the threat of showers. Temperatures were pretty steady around 23, 24 degrees, 14, 15 degrees for those overnight lows. But we have a decent amount of cloud cover. Keep in mind on Wednesday there is Game 2 happening for the FIFA World Cup at Toronto Stadium. So if you're heading there, be mindful that we could be in for some showers. But then as we end the week, things clear up and we say hello to more sunshine. So not a bad week ahead, but yes, certainly the chance for showers, and so just something to be aware of. Andrea.
Thanks, Raheem. Well, the Blue Jays were going for the series win in their rubber match against the New York Yankees this afternoon.
And hits this one to deep center. Going back, Bellinger, it's gone!
Toronto was down by 1 in the 6th inning when David Schneider tied the game with a solo home run. New York would answer back in the 9th inning with Ben Rice hitting a 2-run homer. The Yankees would add a 3-run shot later in the frame as they went on to take it 8-3. The Jays have Monday off before opening a series with the Red Sox at Fenway Park in Boston on Tuesday.
On the hard court, the Tempo returning to action, hosting the Atlanta Dream this afternoon.
3-point attempt is hurting them early here. Kia Nurse for 3!
The Tempo got off to a strong start, building a 13-point lead in the first quarter, but Atlanta stormed back, outscoring the Tempo by 20 points in the second quarter, and Atlanta actually went on to win the game 102-77, handing Toronto their second straight loss. They'll look to get back in the win column Tuesday, visiting Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever.
The Toronto Marlies are looking to go up 2 games to zip in the Calder Cup final against the Chicago Wolves.
Or maybe set up a backdoor play and got neither. Now a counter, they score! Lettieri able to one-hand it in.
Yeah, the Marlies are coming off a 4-2 win in the Game 1 of the AHL Championship Series. Game 2 is currently underway and is tied at 3 in the third. The series will next shift to Toronto for Game 3 at Coca-Cola Coliseum. That's going to be a busy place down there. That is on Tuesday.
Well, some hardware could be handed out tonight in the NHL with the Carolina Hurricanes 1 win away from hoisting the Stanley Cup.
Aho. It comes back. Ehlers, beautiful pass, and they score! Another power play goal!
I'm rooting for him. The Hurricanes are coming off a 4-2 win at home to take a 3-2 lead in the series. They can win their first Stanley Cup since 2006 with the victory tonight in Vegas. Puck drop is set for 8 p.m. Let's move on. Fresh off another record-setting PWHL season, the league is recruiting as it expands to 12 teams next year, and the spotlight is shifting to Canadian talent.
Oh, and as CTV's Rachel Aiello reports, there are more than 100 Canadian women in contention for this year's draft. Here's a first look at some of the players hoping to get their big break.
Ottawa's Michelle Pasechnik has been playing hockey since she was 3.
As soon as I could walk, I was skating.
Named NCAA Goaltender of the Year her senior year, now she and 120 other women from across Canada are in contention to be drafted to the PWHL.
It would be a dream come true. Just honestly help grow the game for future generations, all the young girls looking up to us. So it'd just be great to do it for them.
There are 236 eligible new players in the talent pool this year. The league has 12 teams, and each will get to pick 6 players, meaning 72 rookies will be making it on a roster next season.
I'm just going and just hoping for the best.
From playing mainly with boys in her small hometown to being among the most decorated prospects of the draft class, Emily Lavoie is hoping the hard work she's put in pays off.
Obviously, I would love to be drafted wherever this has to be, but I think I had a great season last season to bring my odds a little higher, but then in the end, I don't have the decision in my hands.
Defender Erica Ryder first hit the ice at age 5. She went on to be captain of the University of Manitoba Bisons and has spent the last 5 years playing in the Swedish Women's League. Now she's ready to see what happens next.
It's hard as female athletes, and we've fought for a long time to have this opportunity. And so, the sellout crowds that we've had and just the response online and everything has meant so much to us. And so even for us new draftees that are coming in, just super exciting, and we're so thankful for everyone's support.
The women I spoke to said having a chance to turn pro was not even something they could dream about until the PWHL was formed 3 years ago. And now they're just days away from that potentially becoming a reality. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Air Canada and a union representing around 11,000 of its staff have reached a tentative deal on a new contract. The International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers says the agreement includes landmark wage increases for its members. They include Air Canada employees in maintenance, cabin services, operations, and administrative roles. The specific terms of the deal will stay under wraps until a vote on ratification, which is expected within the next few weeks.
Playing outdoors and just being a kid is a fundamental aspect of childhood.
But a global children's charity is warning that youngsters aren't simply playing enough. CTV's Kathy Lee has more on the decline and how it's impacting their development.
Outdoors and swinging through the branches. This is Jonathan Chan's happy place.
I can just be in my own bubble away from the world.
The 8-year-old is part of a Calgary-based program that focuses on playing in nature.
We've been climbing trees, digging holes, and playing pretend games that were really fun.
Devin Karchat, a physiotherapist who works with children, says her son was the inspiration behind the program, and she's seeing its popularity grow.
There's definitely been kind of a resurgence, I guess, in programs like that we offer that push to get all kids outside and playing.
The push comes as nonprofit Right to Play draws attention to research suggesting more children are spending less time outdoors.
It's really concerning. Kids are playing less globally than previous generations. Digitalization, AI, social media is pulling kids away from play, physical play, but also just free play.
The organization supports play-based programs in more than 60 Indigenous communities across Canada and also who works with vulnerable children around the world. At its Heroes Gala in Toronto, marking the United Nations International Day of Play, Right to Play Ambassador Sam Effa says playing outside is crucial for the development of a child's social, communication, and problem-solving skills.
I've seen how a soccer ball can change, an environment from maybe a struggle or a frustration to confidence.
For Chan, the peace and quiet is where he finds his confidence, creativity, and inspiration.
I'm a big, guitarist, songwriter. It's been a place where all my lyrics come to me.
A place where he can just be himself. Kathy Lee, CTV News, Calgary.
Former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is responding to scrutiny of his decision to attend the FIFA World Cup opening ceremony in the United States and not in Canada. Trudeau was in California on Friday to watch his girlfriend Katy Perry perform at the U.S. kickoff. He took to social media this weekend, writing, "Sometimes supportive boyfriend duties call, but you know who I'm rooting for to take the cup," along with a Canadian flag.
As she scores her latest #1 hit during Pride Month, Ariana Grande is using her spotlight to fuel a new charitable effort. The Ponytail is Gone. Hate That I Made You Love Me debuted at the top of several charts, including the Billboard Hot 100. And as her latest single gets that attention, she posted Friday that she's launching the Brighter Days Ahead Foundation. The pop star says funds raised will go towards defending trans and LGBTQ+ rights and supporting organizations that provide what she called the safe space and care that is desperately needed by so many right now.
Director Steven Spielberg scored his latest #1 film at the box office this weekend.
The human race cannot accept what we know. We need to stop it any way we can.
Alien sci-fi thriller Disclosure Day landed with $44 million U.S. in ticket sales across North America. Meanwhile, psychological horror film Obsession climbed back onto the podium, claiming second place with $19 million in its 5th weekend. And Scary Movie slid from 1st to 3rd with a still solid $14.5 million.
Still ahead, how 2 East Coast strangers have been bonded in a heartwarming way. We have their story after the break.
A mother from Newfoundland who lost her son last year had the opportunity to hear his heartbeat once again this weekend.
As NTV's Beth Penny tells us, it comes as a community rally to raise funds for mental health at a commemorative softball tournament.
It's been an emotional weekend, hearing her son's heartbeat in another man's chest. Deanne Penny lost her son, Ben Penny, to suicide in March 2025 at the age of 23. Ben was registered as an organ donor, and more than a year after his death, his heart now beats inside Adam Roberts, the recipient of the life-saving transplant.
When we got the call and I got the transplant, our entire worlds have turned around, and it was all because of Ben's decision to be a donor.
The emotional reunion took place this weekend at the 2nd annual Ben Penny Memorial Softball Tournament, where family, friends, and community members gathered to celebrate Ben's life while raising funds and awareness for the Ruha Counseling Center. Roberts says he has what's known as the Newfoundland curse, a genetic heart disease, ARVC.
I wouldn't be here today. I could barely walk before my transplant, and now here I am running around, and it's overwhelming to be here with the family and the friends and all the support here, and I can never thank Ben enough for what he's done for me and my family.
Ben's uncle and family spokesperson Glenn Spurgeon says the Monday Pond community always shows up for one another, and this annual softball tournament is proof of how much Ben was loved by all. And they want to raise awareness about the importance of honoring a loved one's wish to become an organ donor, noting that in some cases, families can override those decisions. They say that had Ben's wishes not been respected, Roberts would not be alive today.
If somebody wants to become an organ donor and their wish is an organ donor, like Ben signed his MCP, want to be an organ donor, When he passed away, Deanna and Ali could have overrid that if they wanted to. I don't know why they would ever want to, but apparently there's millions of families that do override this. But look at the joy that's come out of this. I mean, this man would not be standing here today if they had to override this. So this is the whole purpose of this, is just awareness for mental health, awareness for people donating.
For Ben's family, his mom and dad, his siblings, and those closest to him, the tournament serves as both a celebration of his life and a reminder that his legacy continues to live on through the people that he helped to save. Beth Penny, NTV News.
Well, that is it for this evening.
Let's still do weather.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
I was ready to just get out of here. There's a hockey game on tonight. I got a jet.
There is. That is a big one. Let's quickly take a look at the satellite radar so we can show you that the bulk of the system has passed through the GTA. Yeah, we dealt with a lot of rain today, but there is obviously still a chance of some showers. Temperatures right now, 16 degrees in Toronto, and same temperatures in Hamilton, London, and Owen Sound. School day forecast tomorrow. By noon, 16 degrees and a sun cloud mix, 20 degrees by 3 p.m. Our daytime high, 22 degrees. Then we say hello to some more showers for the bulk of the work week. And then we head into next weekend looking like sunshine and mid to low 20 temps. Andrea.
Okay, now, be sure to join us tonight at 11 for the CTV National News, followed by our next local newscast at 11:30.
In the meantime, our coverage continues anytime on CP24 and online at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For all the hardworking people in front of and behind the camera, thanks for watching. Have a good night. I'm Andrea Case.
And I'm Raheem Ladani.
Good night.